She said, "We know what you're thinking. Stepdad fantasy. Could have made content from it." No, nobody was thinking that. Trust that kind of idea.
Trust me, no one was thinking that. Hey, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine Grace and today is another reaction video. Guys, like the video on your way in. Let's get straight into it.
I ruined my mum's marriage. I never planned on telling this story on TikTok, but here we are. So when I first started my website, I had this customer who was my #1 customer, bought every single thing that I sent him. He was pretty much a follower since the beginning. We would talk every day. He made custom requests, very specific things, and he also had a very specific username on the website. 2 months in, this person had spent around 2,000 Australian dollars on the site, and I had someone view my TikTok page with the exact same username, and underneath that it said "from your contacts." I went absolutely mental trying to figure out who this person was from my contacts. I narrowed it down to 6 people, and one of them was my stepdad. I went with my gut feeling and I messaged the website account and I said, "I know who this is," and within 2 minutes got a text from my stepdad saying, "Hey Tay, can we talk?"
Nasty.
Here is the custom content that my stepdad was requesting on my naughty site. Like I said in a previous video, we messaged every single day on the website and he would make requests almost every single day. One of them was to see the underwear that I was wearing every day. At the time I was working still, so I was out of the house 5 days a week, and he would ask for pictures in the bathroom or the change rooms of wherever I was. He also requested that when I was filming solo content at home that I would not do it in the bathroom or in the shower. He always wanted it to be on my bed or on the floor of my bedroom, which, mind you, he had access to this room every single day. He also was helping out do the washing at home with said underwear. I actually have here a little notebook from the time, and it says the name of the username, change room / public stuff that he was wanting.
Repugnant.
My stepdad was my top subscriber on my naughty website. Now I know what you're all thinking, oh, stepdad fantasy, could have made content from it, blah blah blah. This man had been in my life since I was 11 years old and spent $2,000 on custom content every single video that I sent out. When I caught him, he denied it to all of his friends, and obviously my mum got rid of him straight away. But yeah, if you want to talk about family trauma, my stepdad watched me have sex with my partner for 2 months.
That is fucked up.
She said she was not planning on telling this story, so what made her change her mind? Maybe to get some attention, perhaps. Stepdaddy was going on some madness, paying for her content.
Sick bastard.
This is another reason why the younger generation should stay away from OF.
Absolutely.
Because they never know who is paying for their content or watching them.
Yeah, like, I agree. What she said, she was never gonna tell this, and now she's on here. So what's prompted her to do that? She really doesn't seem like she should be saying like, and this is why I've decided not to do it anymore, because you absolutely shouldn't do it, because you never know who's behind, you know, these accounts or whatever, and it can be really creepy or whatever. But what?
Damn shame.
She said, "We know what you're thinking. Stepdad fantasy. Could have made content from it." No, nobody was thinking that. Trust that kind of idea.
Trust me, no one was thinking that.
To come out of an OF 304's mind.
We live in a crazy, mixed up world.
What did I just watch?
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
A condom that will turn a different color if bacteria from a disease or infection is detected. It can glow green for chlamydia, yellow for herpes, purple for HPV, and blue for syphilis.
This is genius.
It's gonna be a disco at the whorehouse.
Listen, I don't be asking for much. All I want is a thugged out, hard-working, church-going gangster who gives me that Cinderella lifestyle. That's it. Like, hello, I I'm right here. The reason it's not working out for you and them is because it's for me. Okay, yeah, like, seriously though. I'll make you laugh.
Delusional thoughts from Fantasy Island.
I had a realization. I was in Miami with my girl, and you know, a couple guys from the beach, like working on the chairs and stuff like that, came up to me like, "Yo, I love your videos, bro. Keep it up. Fist pound, move on." And then the same amount of times, my girl was getting the same attention. "Wow, you're so beautiful. I love what you do with your hair. Thank you." I was like, why do we have the same self-esteem? It took my whole life sitting in the basement of a train station with an ungrateful cameraman. You know what she did? Took a shower, put on some lotion. I needed to work my whole fucking life for what you get by showering. That's the basis of how the world sees us. If you can't admit that, then you're living in a lie.
Well, the women are definitely living life on easy mode. You know, you can't even get them to begin to understand what it's like to live a life like a man, you know? They just really can't even comprehend it.
Genuine question. Butt or boobs?
Cash!
Tractor bear, don't you ever have no fear. Don't think I could survive this year if it wasn't for Tractor Bear.
This is why women come back after leaving.
You think us men don't know why you come back, ladies? Y'all go out there on social media, y'all put all these pictures and videos, and y'all use all these filters, and then you got all these guys in your DMs telling you how great you are. Then you look over at your guy at the couch playing a game. You're like, I could do better than him. Look at my inbox. All these guys are hot. Start watching your videos, and you're like, you know, I really am beautiful. I can do better than this. Ladies, I put that bold glamour filter on my pug and turned her into a fucking show dog. And you ladies get these guys in your DMs are like, girl, if you leave him, I'll treat you like a queen. He ain't doing you right, girl. I don't even play games on the TV. Y'all get out your pen and paper, start running the numbers on what you make, and then you start looking for places, and you're like, you know, if I just eat ramen noodle soup every day, I could afford this. It's always the same song and dance. Y'all leave, and the guys in your DMs, all they wanted to do was bang you, because once they actually meet you, they're like, you don't look nothing like you do in those videos and pictures. Then you do get you a place, and it only takes about 1 month of eating ramen noodle soup every day, and you're like, well, I'll just go live with my mom and save money. Well, you hated living with her when you were a kid, and you hate living with her now, so it only leaves one option, right, ladies? Ladies come crawling back to us, and you use your manipulation tactics. You're like, you know, I had men falling at my feet, and I was happy, and I could make it on my own, but all I could think about was you and what we had. I miss you so much.
Damn, this fool broke it down so savage. This is exactly what happens, guys. When she comes back after she's been gone playing all those games, know for sure she got pumped and dumped by a bunch of losers, and now she wants you to come clean up the mess once again. Guys, don't fall for it. Seriously. I mean, it takes a little while to do better. It's harder for us to get with the girl because we have to have our shit together. The girls can just go get ran through immediately. So that could be a little difficult to deal with. But you got to hold strong, man. If she left you once, she'd have no respect for you. Ain't nothing going to change. And she literally played the field and came back. So, I mean, that's like worse than sloppy seconds, ain't it?
So you get up and you take a pee? Of course not.
Do you see his chain?
No.
It's not his. It's not his, yeah.
Who do you borrow it from? You?
Yeah.
Huh.
So maybe
we'll go out.
It's not his.
You love calling him out, don't you?
Yeah.
I've been sitting at countless tables where Andrew and Tristan bring, they all bring beautiful, stunning women to the table. The only thing that happens when they get up to pee is I ask them, how in the hell did you land him? That is your job as a friend. You know, that snake shit.
That sucker shit, straight up.
You relax in a bus when you don't know the driver. You relax in a plane when you don't know the pilot. You relax in a ship when you don't know the captain. So why don't you relax in life knowing that God is in control?
It's simple. He don't like you.
That's a great question.
He don't call you. He don't like you. He don't keep his word. He don't like you. He's inconsistent. He has someone else. He only calls you when he wants something. He's using you. He starts random arguments. He's cheating on you. He's not investing in you. You're not worth the investment. Never met his family. You're not the one. Been with your guy 5+ years. No ring. No marriage. He's still searching. You're a placeholder. Men are not complicated. They're very easy to know. Men don't talk with their words. They talk with their actions.
I think we all know what that means, right?
My God, you're so good. Oh my, isn't she so good?
I got a boyfriend though.
Oh, bitch. I do not. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know. My fault.
Where you going?
I go to the gym.
I need to get my pump on, bitch.
No, you should come with me next time.
You know what I'm saying? I'll take my number.
No,
oh my
for real.
God.
Let me see. Yeah, take your number.
I'm kind of new on campus. What are you doing tonight?
I'm not doing anything.
Oh my God, let's do
You want to do
something.
something?
Cheers, bitch.
To us and my new friends.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. Ain't nobody gay on this shit. I'm just. Wait.
Yeah, I was doing this shit and saw a clip last night where a guy pretended like he was gay to try to get in the girl's house, I guess. Man, that's some fucking weird shit. And then what do you do when you tell her you're not gay? She's like, well, obviously, she got to be creeped out as fuck. I'm not necessarily, this wouldn't work, would it?
So we just had some cactus flowers bloom.
Dude, look at those titties!
And I'm on. Oh, yay! Look at this. Isn't it pretty?
Go
Oh,
up.
dear
Move up.
Lord. Dear Lord, that's not for freaking real.
Obviously, it's not for real, Mom.
Well, it's unreal. She paid 10 grand and thinks it looks good.
All the girls that are being 20 right now and absolute whores in the club, whatever not, in 10 years are going to be 30, trying to settle down, and realize that all the good guys are taken. They're going to complain that they were ran through their whole life, but while they were partying for the past 10 years, all the good girls got cuffed by the good guys. And so now, when they look at all the men that are options, they're going to be competing with the now 20-year-old good girls and be stuck. Why? Because all the good guys are gone. You missed your chance being a fucking whore, bitch.
She's right though.
Ain't that the motherfucking truth? You missed your chance being a whore, bitch.
So I want to bring to everybody's attention a serious safety concern I have with a lot of modern vehicles. Around the early 90s, a lot of manufacturers began going away from this style of seatbelt. And they began going to this narrower, much thinner style that does not fit a standard bottle cap, which means now you have to perform the, in my opinion, highly risky maneuver.
Oh, that's brilliant!
Opening your door while going down the road just to get your beer open. That's dangerous, auto manufacturers. You can do better.
Don't drop that. It says I might cry.
Yeah, I'm scared of that motherfucker. Man, I'm scared shitless of spiders like some people are scared of snakes, but I let this tarantula crawl on me earlier at the pet store. Alright, y'all, let's see what I got for you today. You know, if you're going to be an entrepreneur and in life in general, it's going to be important to be able to figure out what needs to be done and prioritize what needs to be done first and get those things done. You know, every day as a business owner, we're running YouTube channels, we're doing different stuff. I really got to think about what I'm doing all the time. You know, sometimes animal care is the highest thing that has to be done. Sometimes I got a sandblast order that's so big, it takes priority. And sometimes, you know, we're about to be screwing up on our schedule for YouTube, so all those other things got to go to the side, and I have to do the YouTube. But there's no one that's going to tell me what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, what's most important. If this doesn't get done, am I going to be fucked? I got to make all these decisions in my life and in my businesses. So I think a lot of people have a hard time being the shot caller and figuring out what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. So, you know, you need to think about it methodically. I use lists typically. I have to analyze what I'm doing. When one job's complete, I have to look and say, what's the next on the priority list and keep this fucking shit going. And my days personally aren't in an 8-hour situation. I might wake up at like 6, I'll take care of animals. I might drive out to the sandblasting place, be there all day. I'll come home, maybe take a shower, take a break, drink coffee, do YouTube all night. So, you know, it's a lifestyle, and eventually you get to do whatever the fuck you want. And that is where I am right now. I could do whatever I want, but I still decide to do this every day. I really like it. I don't like sitting around being a lazy piece of shit. I like getting some shit done. I like feeling accomplished. I feel like I set out on a task and fucking killed it. That's what I like to do in my life every day.
Men understand that there's a relationship between how successful they are and how attractive they are to women. Like, and part of what they motivates them is the game of that competition. So I worked with high-end lawyers for about 15 years, both men and women, and found some very interesting differences in that. But the men even regarded the money they made in bonuses at the end of the year for outstanding performance. They weren't so interested in the money. They were interested in the money as a means of keeping score. It was a means of winning the competition. And you might say, well, competition for what? And the answer to that is, well, let's call it competition, not for status exactly, but for reputation. But the consequence of a stellar reputation is that, and men who have that are much more...
It's almost as if, you know, this is just from my interpretation of things that I've seen Jordan Peterson say before. There's like an invisible hierarchy that goes on with men. There's like this underlying competitiveness, and, you know, when you walk in a room, there's automatically this sort of invisible hierarchy that goes on that people sort of judge and gauge where they stand. And the same happens with female, but the criteria for that hierarchy, I think, is very, very different in a room full of females versus a room full of guys. The criteria for the order of that hierarchy, should I say.
Attractive to women. And you might say, well, women go after wealth, but I think that's nonsense. And I think that's also belied by the relevant evolutionary biology theory, because what it shows, and tell me if I've got this wrong, is that women use wealth as a marker for attractiveness because they use wealth as a marker for competence. And what they're after is the ability to generate wealth and to share it and to be generous with it. It has to be both productivity and generosity. And a decent marker for the capacity to generate wealth is wealth, although it's not the only criteria. So women are looking for competence, and men, it's a very strange thing about men, you know, they compete among themselves for competence-based reputation. And now I've been trying to figure out why, because you can imagine a movie scenario where, you know, the quarterback of the football team wins a major championship and all the other men put him on his shoulders and, you know, bring him out of the stadium, and he sleeps with the cheerleader that night. And you might ask yourself, well, why in the world would the men group together to elevate a given man to that sort of status if it means that he's going to be the one that successfully reproduces? And my suspicion is that men learned to value competence probably as a consequence of hunting. Yeah. So any given hunter, no matter how good he is at hunting, is going to fail in most hunts. So now if men band together to hunt, then the collective success is much larger. And so what that means is that if you're going to be a hunter that provides across hunting bouts, your skill as a hunter is one determinant, but your interpersonal skill in negotiating and establishing relationships with the rest of the hunters is even more important. So among hunter-gatherers, for example, if you're the one who brings down the animal, it's incumbent on you to downplay your contribution and to distribute the best parts of the animal to other people. And you're doing that to foster your reputation as a generous person. And you're doing that in part to ensure that there's reciprocity in food distribution across multiple hunts. Now, the men are going to be willing to elevate the highest hunter to the highest position because I think it's in their collective interest. It's in their collective interest and in their individual interest to be the followers of the best man. And I think that's so important in terms of their own reproductive fitness, which would be tied to the provision of food.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would say, just from judging as a female from the outside in, that guys definitely do have an element of judging each other by, you know, I think for all people really, by who you associate with. You know, it's obviously better for you if you're known to associate with the best leader, or in this instance, the best hunter, rather than one that's less, instead of taking all the glory for yourself, which obviously in some cases, if you have someone who isn't actually at the highest point of competence but wants to be adored as such, then well that would obviously be a narcissist or a psychopath within the group. But generally, you know, associating with the right people feeds into your status and your reputation.
Across hunts, that they're willing to take the reproductive hit that's, what would you say, implicit in elevating any given man among all other men. You could think about that in terms of hunting, and you could think about that in terms of combat too. You know, if you put the most heroic warrior on your shoulders, you give him an evolutionary edge. But if you're in his group, well, then you've got the benefits of being with the greatest warrior and the greatest hunter. And so I don't know if the evolutionary biologists have been able to calculate out the relationship between establishing a reciprocal relationship with a great hunter or a great warrior versus the costs of men competing to elevate a given man to the highest possible position. It's a very weird thing that men do.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, though. I mean, I think that the benefits of aligning yourself with somebody who's very powerful, that, I mean, think about it. If there's somebody, and like, let's say that he's, 1.0 and you're sort of 1.1, and so there's somebody who's a better performer than you. You could get your ass kicked if you keep trying to have to, fight with this guy. So there's a big cost to you to trying to overturn this person. And there's a lot of benefits of aligning with the person who's also really competent. And so
That's especially true if it's a Pareto distribution in terms of competence, right? Because the really competent person might be like 100 times more competent.
Well, right, exactly. And so it's like, I think that there's a lot of benefits that come, especially to men, because of the hunting context. Of aligning with another man in that context. And there's also this tendency in so this has been very well studied in non-human animals, but we see a very similar version of this in humans. But have you ever heard of lekking behavior? So a lek is a place where males within a species will gather to attract mates. It's almost like a club. It's like the frogs. Like frogs, for example, are a lekking species. And the males will all go to this display area and they croak, right? And this is what attracts the females. And so the females will go toward where they hear the loudest, most impressive croak, because that male generally is larger in body size and has higher levels of testosterone and will have.
So the louder male attracts all the females.
All the females. And so the males all want to hang out with this guy because he's attracting all the women. And the same is true if
That's so interesting. That's so interesting.
Men align themselves.
Oh, that's very
with,
cool.
with somebody who's really high performer. I mean, if you go out for drinks with Tom Brady, it's not too bad to be Tom Brady 2.0.
Right.
You're going to be able
to bask in the reflect.
That's a really interesting point. I'm so glad that she added that, because that makes so much sense. Maybe this is like fairly obvious to guys, I don't know, but I think that makes a lot of sense. Of course, if you're hanging around with a guy that gets like a way better caliber of girls than say another guy, like you're gonna want to hang around with that dude even if you get his leftovers, because his leftovers are gonna be better than say the leftovers of someone less competent or less adequate.
Bask in the reflected glory.
Right. Well, and the women would all.
I need to watch more evolutionary biology videos because it is a topic that really fascinates me.
Also assume that if the extraordinarily high status male is hanging around with some character who looks like a dweeb on the surface, that there might be hidden depths and utility to his character or advantages in the mere fact that he's proximal.
Absolutely. Right? So women use that a lot. And in fact, some of my very early research, this is going deep. This is when I was in graduate school. I studied this phenomenon in humans, mate choice copying, because this is another thing that you see in females of other species, but you also see it in us. And this is males tend to be a somewhat ambiguous stimulus package because most males, a lot of the qualities that women are looking for aren't immediately available just based on physical appearance.
Right.
So women have to kind of suss out like what is there about this guy. And so when women see a beautiful woman with kind of an average looking guy, the first thing that they think is what? He must be rich, or he must have some really amazing personality, or he must be really high in status.
I wonder, is that magnified if he's unattractive? Because one of the things you might suspect is that if a very beautiful woman is with a man who's very nondescript, that there must be something about him that's absolutely stellar.
Absolutely stellar, yes. And so the magnitude of the gap between the woman, how beautiful the woman is, and then the appearance of the man sort of is linked with the degree to which women perceive that he has these amazing hidden qualities that make him a desirable partner. The bigger the gap, the more amazing the qualities. The smaller the gap, the less amazing the qualities.
Oh, that's very funny.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting.
Proper mating strategy is
I wonder how that compares with males, how males from the outside in see that. If they see a really beautiful woman with a less attractive guy, like, I wonder how they interpret that. But it's interesting what it is from the female perspective in terms of mating, because then that would then make that guy a more attractive mate, even though on physical appearance, he would be less attractive. It's almost inverse. That's really interesting.
If you're a spectacularly endowed male, is to hire a beautiful woman to go to clubs with you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And you would actually probably do better than a more attractive man with the same woman. Because
the gap is bigger. Oh my gosh, it makes so much sense.
People would think that you must really have something going on to have attracted her and look like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insanely complicated. That's insanely comical. That's insanely comical.
Yeah.
I need to go and watch this interview, whatever it is. Sarah Hill, who is she? She's probably an evolutionary biologist. I'm going to have a quick look. Oh, it doesn't say. It just says, Jordan B. Peterson and Sarah Hill discuss success competition and to attract women. Interesting. I really enjoyed that. I'm going to go check out Sarah Hill. She seems to be doing some really fascinating work. Guys, what did you think? Why don't you let me know in the comments below if you like the video. Please do give it a thumbs up on your way out. I'm intrigued. If you know of any other videos that are discussing this kind of topic, yeah, I'd be really intrigued. So please do leave it in the comment section below. Leave a link and I will do another reaction to it. This has piqued my interest. Make sure you subscribe to the channel on your way out to keep up to date with all of my other videos, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Take care.